And we're on. Monday evening yoga. Let's start sitting down. If you have blocks or straps or any props, please have them nearby just in case. You might even like to sit on a block. So last Saturday, I quoted the Yoga Sutras. Mind is the ground for both bondage and liberation. Eckhart Tolle, a mindfulness teacher, talks about problems come from the mind, so they can't be solved in the mind. A few weeks ago, maybe, we talked about facing our shadows, doing a little bit of introspection on patterns in the mind, the shadows being those parts of ourselves that might be uncomfortable or make us feel vulnerable to acknowledge. So they're often kind of swept under the rug some way. Well, I want to quote Shiliana Ayano, who is a spiritual psychology writer. And she says that shadow work means taking the time to observe your mind and question your conditioning. The qualities in yourself you repress, deny, or mask are the shadow aspects of your personality. When we bring awareness, ownership, and compassion to our shadow, we transform it, integrate it, and change its expression. And then all of you is welcome. In expectations of us from society, our family members, people that we service, beings, we can feel the need to cover up the parts of ourselves that don't look as pretty, to have not have better words, or don't look as virtuous. So how do we take a look at those parts? And sometimes they're from things that happened to us in the past, in childhood, and their shadows have been ways that we try to protect ourselves from being hurt in the same ways that we've been hurt in the past. Well, she goes on to say that if we deny the parts we dislike, they only grow in power and strength. As Pema Chodron says, what you resist persists. And when we take full ownership over our minds, we can laugh at ourselves and the stories we create, and then choose how to behave, respond, or show up in a more conscious way. The shadows can often be what causes us to feel triggered by certain things that people say, certain situations. So shadow work is liberating, that liberation of the mind. It's the pathway to pure authenticity and freeing up energy to be who we're really meant to be without the masks. So you might chew on some of these sentence stems she suggests to practice shadow work. A shadow thought I have about myself is fill in the blank. A shadow thought I have about other people is. A shadow thought I have about relationships is. A shadow thought I have about love is. In the 8 limbs of yoga, one of the virtuous practices that is practicing yoga is satya, which is Sanskrit for truth, truthfulness. So may truthfulness enlighten us and help us to embrace all parts of ourselves. So now as you sit tall and ground into what you're sitting on towards the earth, feel an upright spine as you let the collarbones broaden. Rest the hands in your lap and take a deeper breath in, rolling the shoulders forward and up. Opening the mouth as you release the shoulders back and down. Let's take a couple more like that. Inhale, shoulders forward and up. Long exhale through the mouth, shoulders back and down. Last time. We're going to go right into that awakening, energizing yogic coffee we call bellows breath or Bhastrika. So as you close the lips, Place your hands on your belly for a moment just to bring awareness into how you're expanding the belly as you take a deeper breath in using the diaphragm, expanding the lungs, and close the lips and take just a deep exhale through the nose. Again, deep breath into the belly. Up through the chest, exhale just as slowly through the nose. If you're foregoing Bhastrika or need to take a break from it within the minute that we're about to practice, you could return to that style of breathing. Otherwise, preparing for the pranayama, bend your elbows out to the sides, closing the lips. We're going to take rhythmic but deep breaths into the belly and out through the nose for 1 minute. So let's prepare. Inhale the arms up and begin. And release your hands, left hand on the heart, right hand on the lower belly. Close your eyes. Just take a moment to observe inward. My invitation is to be watchful of the mind throughout this physical practice, observing what comes up through patterns of thoughts, knowing that beliefs themselves are created by repeated thoughts, but watching the mind with kindness, with compassion, even playfulness. Set your intention if you have one. Dive a little slower into the breath through the nose, balancing it in and out as you gently narrow the back of your throat. Listen to that whisper as you warm your body through Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath. Steady your awareness through that breath as you softly open your eyes. And let's step the right foot out to the right, bending the knee open, straighten the left leg out to the left. And now as you ground to your sitting bones, lifting the spine, cross your left arm in front of your right shin, catching hold of it, or the knee or the ankle, whatever you can reach for, and then flex both of your feet here. So you start to lean on the outer edge, the pinky toe edge of the right foot, as that knee starts to open up, but you're pulling the leg at the same time so as not to completely collapse it. Raise the right arm up, draw the shoulders down, and then breathe up through the center of your spine, broaden the chest. As you exhale, begin to side bend to your left. If you're not feeling much range to side bend with, you can slide your right heel a little closer to the center front of your pelvis, letting the knee drop some more as you breathe in. Lengthen the spine where you are. As you breathe out, see if you can reach a little further towards your left leg. Consciously relaxing the shoulders so you maintain space in your neck, and even firm the belly so that you're supporting the lower back. Let's take about 3 more breaths. See if you can spiral your chest slightly to face the sky so you're looking up from under your right elbow or upper arm. Keep flexing your feet. Let's take 1 more breath here in this lateral hip opening posture. Now firming the belly, inhale to rise up. And we'll go right to the other side. Straighten the right leg open, bend the left knee, flex both feet and cross the right hand to catch the outside of your left knee, calf, or ankle. Raise the left arm up, wrap that tricep forward, ground the sitting bones, draw the shoulders down, and breathe in, lengthen the spine. Breathe out, side bend to your right. So do allow that left knee to fall open as you're pulling the leg towards you. So those counter forces are what help to stabilize both of your sitting bones. In each inhale, stretch from the pelvis up through the spine, up through the neck. Exhaling to side bend further if you can. And if that range of motion of your side bend feels very limited, you can bring that left heel closer to the front of your pelvis. And for another 3 breaths, see if you can spiral your chest slightly to face the sky, looking up from under your left elbow. Draw the navel towards your spine. Let both sides of your torso lengthen. This last breath here. And firm the belly in and inhale to rise up. Let's bring the soles of your feet together in Baddha Konasana. Heels close to the pelvis, ground the sitting bones, lift the chest. Cameo by Dillinger himself. Exhale, start to bow from your hips. Inhale, press down through the pelvis, broaden the chest forward. Open your throat as you bow further from the hips. Just a couple more breaths as we broaden into the lower back. Open the outer inner thighs. Again, firm the belly and lead with your chest. Breathing in to rise up. So we're actually going to come into a moving bridge pose. So let's set the feet down. Sit your pelvis at the middle of your mat. Separate the feet, hips width apart, parallel and flat. Raise the arms forward. As we make our way slowly down, you're going to engage core muscles, find core stability, and then relax the shoulders, slowly lower all the way onto your back with knees bent. And when your head meets the floor, arms down by your sides, locate your feet, so slide them back until you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips. Just almost. Press down through the 4 corners of each foot. Now we're gonna inhale, lift the pelvis into full bridge. Exhale, slowly lower the spine twice, just moving with 1 breath each. And we're gonna raise the arms overhead as the pelvis lifts up. So on an inhale, ground the shoulders and feet, lift the pelvis, thighs lengthen forward as the arms rise up and overhead, drawing the shoulder blades down the back, tilt the chin slightly back. Then exhale, slowly lowering arms and spine simultaneously. Lowering 1 vertebra at a time, keeping the thighs parallel. Let's take 1 more moving bridge. Inhale, firm the feet down, lift the pelvis, stretch the tailbone forward, arms lifting towards overhead. Tilt the chin slightly back, broaden the chest. Exhale, slowly lower arms and 1 vertebra at a time. All right, this time keep the arms close to your sides to prepare to hold bridge, a regular bridge, for 5 to 10 deep breaths. So focus on expanding through the heart space and all the sides of your lungs. Ground the feet, lift the hips, slide the upper arms underneath your back ribs, and while keeping the arms straight, maybe you clasp the hands. Just make sure it doesn't cause your elbows to flare apart. And then grounding the backs of the shoulders, engage your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs. And you can do that by, without visibly moving your feet, energetically dragging them back towards your glutes. And now at the same time, draw your tailbone forward towards that space between your knees. You might feel a little more lift in your pelvis. Chin tilted slightly back. So on your own, counting a total of 5 to 10 full breaths until you're ready to exhale and lower the spine. And when you lower the pelvis, slide the left leg forward, straight on the ground. Bend the right knee into your chest. Circle the right foot if you like. Point and flex the toes if you like. Just giving some movement, the ankle and foot. And then we're just coming into Apanasana, opening up the inner thighs gently. And let's switch sides. Straighten the right leg forward, bend the left knee into your chest. Give your left foot some movement, like rotating at the ankle, pointing and flexing the toes. Keep relaxing your shoulders on the ground, head on the ground. Deep breaths. From here, straighten the legs forward on the ground. Raise the arms overhead, flat on the floor, and get really long. You might even like to point your toes. You're going to come into a little vinyasa flow, breath-led movement. Let's start slowly here. Take a deep breath in. Now as you exhale, contract the belly and lift your torso upright to sit, catching with your left hand the outer side of your right foot. Flex that right foot, extend it forward off the floor, and reach the right arm towards the back of your mat off the floor, maybe looking towards your right fingertips. Then we'll lower the right leg, lower onto the spine, arms overhead, deep breath in, contract the belly, sit up, right hand catches outer left foot flexed off the floor, left arm circles behind you off the floor, maybe gaze back. So that's it. Let's flow a few times. Inhale, lower everything to the ground, arms overhead. Exhale, rise, left hand catches right foot, twist. Inhale, lower, flat onto your back, arms overhead. Contract the belly, rise, and twist to left. One more each side. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift and twist. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift and twist. This time, cross your shins in front of you, plant your hands, and step back to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. If you'd like to pedal your feet, gently shake your head or be still if you like. Hear the steadiness of your breath again. Inhale, raise the right leg behind you, bend the knee, open the hip. Inhale, draw the left hip further back. Exhale, bend right knee towards your nose, step the foot directly between the hands, spin the back heel down. Warrior two. Align the right heel to the arch of your left foot, then inhale, cartwheel the arms to rise up. It's quite early, but we're setting up for a flow by semi-flowing first. So right heel lined to arch of left foot, right knee is bent to face forward, feel the outer right hip wrap under the body, turn out of your right leg, left leg slightly turns inward. From warrior two, take a full cycle of breath. Raise both arms overhead, with a left hand catch hold of your right wrist. Lift the spine and side bend towards the rear edge of your mat, like exalted or peaceful warrior, but getting a little more lengthening down the right side body. Take a breath in here, then let the arms parallel each other, so palms face each other, and sweep your spine towards the front of your mat. Still bending the front knee, but you're hovering off the right thigh, using your oblique side muscles of your core. Draw the navel towards the spine, turn the chest slightly towards the sky. Take a full cycle of breath, draw the shoulder blades down your back. Now look down at your right foot, and on an inhale, plant your hands to frame it, step into plank, top of a push-up. Now, if you're looking for more core rigor, you could keep your right foot lifted and flexed here as we lower on an exhale forward, then down, either all the way down or halfway down. Both feet on the floor as you inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Scoop the belly in and lift the hips, downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths. Second side, inhale, raise the left leg behind you. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Inhale, draw the right hip further back. Exhale, bend left knee towards your nose, step the foot between your hands. Spin the back heel down, warrior two, cartwheel the arms, breathing in to rise. Check to see that your left knee is bent just over the heel facing the front of the mat as you turn out the leg from the hip socket. Right leg is straight as you turn the toes slightly to face the front of your mat. Tall spine. Take another deep breath. Keep the legs in Warrior Two. Raise your arms overhead, and with your right hand, catch hold of your left wrist. Keep the shoulders relaxed, but breathe in to lift the spine from the pelvis, side bending towards the rear of your mat. Peaceful or exalted warrior. Keep bending the front knee towards the front. Take another deep breath here. Release the hands so your palms face each other, arms parallel overhead. Lift the spine upright, then reach it towards the front edge of your mat, hovering over your left thigh in a version of side angle pose. Draw the tailbone towards your right heel. Turn your chest slightly towards the sky and take one more cycle of breath. Look down at your left foot, and on your inhale, plant your hands to frame it, plank pose. If you're looking for more core rigor, keep the left foot lifted and flexed as you lower. Exhale forward, then down. Choose Cobra or Upward Dog with both feet on the ground. Exhale back to downward facing. So that's the route. We're gonna be flowing. One breath, each motion. A few rounds. Let the repetition, just like these mantras being sung in Sanskrit, be a means of finding steadiness in the mind. Here we go. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Inhale, tack the left hip back. Exhale, right knee to nose, step the foot between the hands. Back heel down. Inhale, rise, cartwheel the arms to Warrior Two. Exhale, raise the arms, catch the right wrist, and side bend to the rear. Inhale, hands apart, lean towards the front of the mat, hover. Exhale, plant your hands in the mat, lower into your vinyasa. Breathe in to Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Breathe out to Downward Facing Dog. Side two. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. Inhale, tack the right hip back. Exhale, bend left knee to nose, step the foot between your hands. Back heel down. Inhale, cartwheel the arms, Warrior Two. Raise the arms, catch the left wrist. Exhale, side bend towards the rear of the mat. Hands apart, arms parallel. Inhale, lean towards the front of the mat. Look down, exhale, plank into your vinyasa. Breathe in, float the heart up. Breathe out, draw the hips back. Downward facing. Take a few deep breaths. In that steady rhythm, one more round. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open at the hip. Inhale, tack the left hip further back. Exhale, bend right knee to nose, step the foot between your hands. Back heel down, inhale, cartwheel the arms to Warrior Two. Raise the hands overhead, catch right wrist, exhale, side bend towards the rear. Hands apart, arms parallel, inhale, lean towards the front of your mat. Look down, exhale from plank down into your vinyasa. Breathe in, let the heart rise. Breathe out, downward facing, side two. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open at the hip. Inhale, tack the right hip further back. Exhale, bend left knee to nose, step the foot between your hands. Back heel down, inhale, cartwheel the arms, Warrior Two. Raise the hands overhead, catch left wrist, exhale, side bend towards the rear of the mat. Hands apart, arms parallel, inhale, side bend towards the front of the mat. Look down, exhale to lower, vinyasa. Deep breath in, smooth breath out. Meeting in downward facing dog. With very bent knees, look in front of your hands. At the end of your exhalation, try to hold the breath out as you walk or float to the top. Inhale, lift the heart, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Sweep the arms. Inhale, rise up. Let the palms meet in prayer, in salutation. Then exhale, bring that feeling of reverence to your own heart. Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, sitting low, bring your feet and knees together, chair pose. Exhale, bow towards the earth. Right into a continuous flow. Inhale, lift the heart, gaze forward. Step back to plank and lower into your vinyasa. Breathe in to lift the chest. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Let's flow. Inhale, raise the right leg, but keep your hips squared. Exhale, step the foot forward inside of your right hand. Spin the back heel down and face forward. Inhale, rise all the way up to warrior one. Then exhale, lower through plank, down into your version of vinyasa. Breathing in, heart space opens. Breathing out, belly contracts, downward dog. Side two. Inhale, raise the left leg, hips squared. Exhale, step the foot inside of your left hand, spin the back heel down. Facing forward, inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Lowering to plank, exhale all the way down into your vinyasa. Deep breath in. Back to downward dog as you exhale. Now there, let's stay for 3 to 5 breaths. As you dive deep into the qualities of your breath you are cultivating in mind, in body, energetically, let this link of movement and breath be a meditation itself. With bent knees, look forward. Bottom of breath, walk or float to the top. Feet touch, inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold in. Knees touch. Inhale, sit low, arms overhead in chair. Exhale, rise up. Last time, sun salutation B. Same sequence. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step to plank or lightly jump to chaturanga. Insert your own vinyasa. Deep breath in. Exhale, back to downward dog. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, step the foot inside of right hand, back heel down. Inhale, rise up to warrior one. Exhale through plank into your choice of vinyasa. Knowing when you need to rest if needed, you can skip the vinyasa. Side two if you're ready. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale the foot just inside of the left hand, back heel down. Inhale up to warrior one. Exhale down, flow or no flow. We'll meet back home in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Feel the pathway of your breath. Now with bent knees, look ahead of your hands. At the end of the exhale, lightly land at the top. Breathing in, lift your heart, gaze forward. Breathing out, fold in. Feet together, knees together. Inhale, sit low in chair. Now stay in chair, join your hands together at your heart. Pick up your right foot and flex it. Turn out your right leg from the hip and cross the right ankle over your left thigh like a figure 4. Feel your 2 sitting bones and try to evenly sink them back. Just take your time. There's no certain degree you need to get to. Just breathing through and feeling your body guide you. Now you could choose to raise the arms if you want to play with your balance further upright. You could plant your hands on the floor, foot ahead of your left toes if you'd like to play with arm balance. If so, cross the right shin on top of both upper arms, bending the elbows back, wrapping the top of the right foot outside the left upper arm, and gaze forward to shift your weight forward, maybe extending the left leg behind you off the ground. Whatever version you're in, maybe 3 or so breaths, we'll meet standing in mountain pose. And when you do arrive in mountain, close your eyes a moment and stack your palms on top of your heart. Imagine breathing into your heart and just taking a moment to perhaps ask it, heart, what do you need right now? As you feel your feet touching, bend your knees into chair. Join your hands together in prayer and shift your weight to your right foot. Lift the left foot and flex it. Turn out the left leg from your hip and cross left ankle over right thigh. Draw your sitting bones as evenly as you can behind you. Feel a slight lift of your navel, a lift of your heart. Where does this side invite you to explore? Maybe arms up, maybe hands on the earth. If arm balance, wrap the top of the left foot around the right upper arm and gaze way past your fingertips on the ground. Using the left shin to press off of both upper arms, rooting to rise. Take your last few breaths so that when you feel ready, we'll meet standing tall. Mountain pose. Turn to face the wide width of your mat and separate your feet very wide apart, parallel. Let the knees bend loosely. Let the arms just hang loosely. And just start to circle the pelvis behind you to one side, forward, back, feeling out your lower spine, your hips. And maybe reverse direction. Knees generously bent. Start to lean right ear towards right shoulder. Let the torso fall towards your right leg. Sweep the hands across the floor to your left leg. Bend the knees generously, left ear to left shoulder. Start to rise. Let's reverse that. Bend the knees, left ear to left shoulder. Torso down towards the left leg. Trace the fingertips on the ground to meet the right leg. Right ear to right shoulder. And slowly rise. Reach the arms overhead. Hook the thumbs like an eagle. And begin to coil your chest up as you gently press the hips forward. Elongate the lower back. Soften the shoulders down. Deep inhale. Bend the knees a lot and exhale to fold. Lower the fingertips on blocks or the ground and lift your heart. Lengthen forward. Place the right hand front and center of you. Raise the left arm. Keep the hips balanced and exhale. Turn your chest to twist. Feel the goodness of your breath in, enlivening cells in your body. Shoulders relaxed away from the neck. Take one more deep breath, expanding your wings fully. Beyond your skin, expand your energy. Switch hands when you're ready. Keep the pelvis still as much as you can. And raising the opposite hand, turn your chest towards it. Feel brightness across the heart center. Smile and feel how your body appreciates your physical practice today. What's opening up? What's releasing to create space for what you choose? Lower both hands. Bend the knees a lot. Drop the skull. Let the arms hang. And with an in-breath, contract the belly and slowly roll up to stack one vertebra at a time. As you open the arms like a T, pivot your feet so that your left foot becomes your front leg, aligning left heel to arch of right foot, triangle pose. With the legs straight, slide your hips towards your right heel, the back leg, reaching the left hand past the left knee and down. Open your chest. Draw your tailbone back towards your right heel. Feel expansiveness in your breath, in your body, groundedness. Literally feel your connection towards the earth. Let's take this to flight in Ardha Chandrasana. Whether you decide to place right hand on right hip for support transitioning or keep the right hand up. Shift your weight forward, gaze at the floor ahead of your left foot. Steady your eyes and walk the left fingertips forward and to the left, upper outer corner from your left foot. Drag the right foot in, lift it just about the height of your hip. Flex the right foot and feel that solid support of your lifted leg. And again, expand across your wings. Maybe you're raising the right arm up, but you don't have to. Feel out how you want to experiment with your balance in this pose. Do you want to add some organic movement? Do you want to look up? Do you want to close your eyes? Maybe lift a finger more? Maybe catch hold of the top of the right foot? And give yourself a few more breaths so that when you feel ready, you take your time. Make the transition back to Warrior Two. Be a pose of itself, bringing that same attention to what you're engaging and how you're containing your center as you motion back to stand. And once both feet are on the floor, straighten both legs. From your hips, pivot your feet to face the opposite edge of your mat. Take a look at your right heel, align it to the arch of your left foot. And with the arms wide open, legs straight, slide your hips towards the rear leg, reaching the right hand past the right knee, then down into triangle pose. Utthita Trikonasana. Feel your tailbone lengthening towards left heel, crown towards front of the room as your chest spirals slightly towards the sky, radiating in all directions here. Wide across the arms, up and down the spine, through both legs. Let's take one more breath. Now, if you like the challenge of transitioning with that left arm up, feel free to keep it up. Otherwise, you can put it on your left hip. Gaze at the floor in front of your right foot. Bend your right knee and walk your right fingertips forward and to the right of that right pinky toe. Drag your left foot forward and flex the foot, lifting the heel about the height of your hip so you can feel the tailbone freely lengthen towards that left heel, creating space in the lower back. Now, where else does your body ask for space here in this pose? Send your breath and awareness and intention there. Expand and ground. How do you want to play with your balance here? Some organic movements. Lifting a finger or more. Bending left knee towards belly to catch the foot. How's the breath? And when you decide, be aware of how you're transitioning back to Warrior Two. Take a look at the top of your mat, and let's step both feet up there. Inhale, sweep the arms towards the sky, look up. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, lift the heart, lengthen forward, step or float back to take one last vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. So we're going to move into single pigeon pose. If you'd like to do it lying on your back, which is called thread the needle or supine pigeon, feel free to do that with right ankle crossed over left thigh. Otherwise, from downward dog, slide your right calf in front of your pelvis, crossing your mat so that you can sit all the way down. Left leg straight behind you, tuck the toes. Then place your hands alongside your hips for a moment. Lift your pelvis off the floor and scissor your right hip back so that your two hips are equally facing the front of your mat. And if your right hip is a big space away from the ground, put something to fill that space so your pelvis stays balanced. And then from here, you can decide to fold forward, relax the back toes. You could decide to twist, left arm under right bent elbow, left ear towards the ground or on a block. Or you could take another back bend, a heart opener, which is Ekapada Rajakapotasana. That's it. If you're going into that back bend, you could slide the left knee back and lean the torso forward while you bend your left knee so that your weight is not digging down through the left kneecap. Then with your left hand, backstroke the left arm. Try to reach for the inside, the big toe side of your left ankle, foot, or pant leg. You might even use a strap here to lasso the top of the foot. Then continue to scissor the right hip back, the left hip forward so your hips remain facing the front. You could even think of squeezing the thighs towards each other so you start to lift the pelvis slightly, and that can help you engage the lower belly to sustain your balance if you want to lift the right arm off the ground. Draw the shoulders down the back, lift the heart. What's called mermaid pose is if you bring the crook of your left elbow to hold on to the top of the left foot, and then the arms meet overhead so the fingers might clasp. So in the back bend, if you're practicing it, focus on bending the back right under your shoulder blades, not so much the lower back. By engaging the belly in, hugging the thighs energetically towards each other, and drawing the tailbone downward rather than behind you. And so whatever version of single pigeon pose that you're in, let's take 3 last deep breaths on this side. Taking your time. If you're lying on your back, stay on your back, and you might like to circle your legs together and apart. Otherwise, come back to downward facing dog and lift your right leg up behind you. Take a moment to just encourage some blood flow into that right hip by shaking the leg out or circling the leg a few times. So if you were on your back the first round, I invite you to do the same posture on the second side. Otherwise, from downward dog, slide the left calf in front of your pelvis, coming down to sit with your right leg straight behind you, tuck the right toes. Place your hands alongside your hips and lift the pelvis off the floor just for a moment so that you can scissor the left hip back and the right hip forward. Then you'll know if you need to place something under your left glute to support that balance. Now you might fold forward, you might twist, left elbow points up, right arm slides under left elbow, right side of the head on the ground or a block. Or you might take that heart opener, bending the right knee, tilt the weight forward, backstroke the right arm, catch the inside, big toe side of ankle or foot. Then imagine you're scissoring the legs towards each other as you lift the torso upright. So it's like you're lifting the frontal hip bones, drawing the tailbone down, and then you might raise the left arm up. Deep breaths. You might use the crook of your right elbow to catch hold of the top of the right foot, and perhaps the fingers meet to clasp. If you're back bending, feel where that's mostly happening. Direct it to happen mostly right under your scapula, right where the bra strap would be. So whatever variation you're in, let's give it 3 more deep breaths. take your time to come out of it. Let's all eventually meet in downward facing dog this time. And you might like to lift the left leg, bend the knee, shake out the leg. And from downward facing dog, let's set both knees on the ground to prepare for 2 rounds of camel pose, Ustrasana. Yes, mighty heart opener. If you have a block or something like it, you want to use the skinniest width of it to hug right in between your thighs, especially if you need support for your lower back, if there's any tightness in it. Now, as you stand on your knees, whether or not you have blocks, you want to have your knees about hips width apart. And then tuck your toes behind you for the first round at least. Place your hands on your lower back so that your fingertips are pointing down. And encourage the flesh of your glutes to release down towards the backs of your knees. So that elongation of the lower back is what we're looking to feel. It causes the frontal hip bones to slightly lift up and the belly to slightly engage. Now keep your hips right above your knees the whole posture. That's important to maintain that space in the lower back. Bend your elbows closer together and let your chest broaden. Roll the shoulder heads back and down and take a deep breath to lift the heart. Start to gaze up. Some people like to collapse their head all the way back. I prefer to have some space in the back of the neck. You decide what feels right for you. If you can reach for one heel, hold it like a baseball, or maybe 2 heels, just as long as you're not feeling any compression in the lower back. You're still keeping the hips above the knees. So give yourself a few more breaths till you decide to place your hands in your lower back and roll the spine upright to sit. We'll meet sitting down to rest for a few breaths. You might even use that block between your ankles to sit on if you like. Taking the last camel pose or Ustrasana. If you want to explore a deeper back bend and you were able to reach for your heels on the first round, you can untuck the toes this time so the tops of your feet are flat on the ground. You decide what's appropriate for you. If you don't have a block, firm your outer hips towards your midline as if you're hugging a block between your thighs. Hands and lower back. Draw the tailbone down, lift the back ribs away from it. Hug the elbows close together and take a deep breath to coil your chest up. Feel the shoulder blades gliding down the back. So 5 to 10 deep breaths. We'll eventually meet sitting down. As you arrive sitting, just allow a moment of silence to feel what's present in mind and heart. Blinking the eyes open. Let's bring the legs in front of you as we prepare for a seated spinal twist. Extending the left leg forward, set up your right foot either in front of the hip or outside of your left knee, where you might also bend the left knee. And release the right hand on the floor behind your pelvis. Raise the left arm up, press down through both sitting bones and right foot to lift the spine taller. Use the exhale to rotate your chest to face the right wall. Lower your left arm, so you either hold the shin on top or hook the elbow outside the thigh. Continue to root down, even the shoulders root down to create space in the neck, while rising up through the center line of your body. Exhale, feel your belly hollow, allowing space to explore depth in the twist. A few last breaths. Feel the lightness of your forehead and the lightness of your tongue. With the exhale, unwind your spine. Let's prepare for the other side. Straighten the right leg forward. Set the left foot either in front of the hip or outside the right knee, where you might bend the right knee too. Place the left hand behind your pelvis. Raise the right arm. Ground through the shoulders, through the sitting bones, and rise up. Breathe in. Exhale, twist to the left. Lower your right arm, either catching the shin or hooking the elbow outside the thigh. Rooting down, keep rising up, especially through the heart space. Deep breaths. Exhale, let the belly hollow as you explore depth in the twist. One more deep breath here. Then unwind. We're going to set up for Ardha Hanumanasana or full Hanumanasana. If you have blocks, you might want to have one on either side of you as you come to all fours. Set the right foot forward like a lunge, so your legs are hips width apart. And if you have blocks, you can have them almost alongside your hips, otherwise fingertips there. Slide your right heel forward to straighten the leg and flex the foot. Press the big toe mound forward. Notice how that allows your right quadricep to engage, like you're lifting the kneecap towards the hip. Then feel your two hips evenly face forward as you grow the spine forward. Open your throat, open your chest, and folds. So if you're staying in half split, Ardha Hanumanasana, you can keep your left knee directly above your directly beneath your left hip. If you're moving towards some form of full Hanumanasana, very carefully start to slide the right heel forward while tucking the left toes behind you. That tucking of the left toes is important because it allows your two hips to stay facing forward instead of the left hip drawing behind the right hip. You could even put a block or something like it to catch your right hamstring here. This is a hamstring opening posture. Let's give ourselves 5 more breaths before we switch sides. As you begin to switch sides, do it very mindfully. Breathe through, dragging the right heel back towards you. Stepping the right knee behind you to come back to all fours. Then step the left foot forward like a lunge. Slide the heel forward to straighten the left leg and flex the foot. Pressing the big toe mound forward. Draw the thigh bone back into the hip socket. Feel the quadricep engage. With hips squared, breathe in to lengthen the spine. Lift the chest slightly and keep it slightly lifted as you're folding. Exhale. Now, if you're in half split, the right knee stays directly under the right hip. If you're moving towards full Hanumanasana, tuck the right toes and begin to slide the left heel forward. You could put a block or something like it under your left thigh to support you as you keep the hips facing forward. Take your time. There's no particular endpoints. You're just breathing through and having a wonderful conversation with your body. A loving conversation with your body. Last few breaths here. Deep inhale. Slow release of breath. Now take your time transitioning out. We'll meet in child's pose. Dragging the left heel back, stepping the left knee behind you, and bringing the feet together to touch as you rest your head all the way down. Allow a deep inhale to fill up your back, all the way down to the lower back, and all the way up to the back of your neck. And then a big exhale through the mouth, let it go. Try a couple last breaths like that. If you like, make a loud sigh through the mouth. Place your hands alongside your knees and tuck your chin towards your chest, breathing in to slowly roll your spine upright. Slide the legs in front of you and let's get set up for Shavasana. If you'd like to take a restorative posture, you could place your legs up on something, whether a chair, a bed, or a wall. If a wall, have your glutes right up against the wall too as you lie on your back. Otherwise, stretch the legs out so the feet are splayed a little wider than the hips. Let the feet flop naturally as you lower your back all the way to the ground. Feel openness around the heart by turning the palms to face up and drawing the shoulders into the earth. Close your eyes and feel the release of control in body and breath. Just being still. Continue to lie to rest here, feeling your body breathe naturally, allowing your body to remain still. And sometimes as we start a meditation practice or progress through it, the mind can actually feel very active, or negative thoughts start to compile. And the meditation practice in itself might not feel so peaceful. This is a sign of growth. It's a sign of, it's not that the mind just started to become active, it's that we've stopped to listen to what's already been there. As we move through our daily routines, it can become easier to not listen to stuff in the mind, especially if it's not so comfortable to listen to. We talked about shadows. But sitting down and having the compassion with the intention for satya, truth seeking, to free ourselves, to liberate ourselves. In the long term, as we continue the practice, can be so fulfilling. So decide if you want to stay a couple minutes in Shavasana longer, or if you want to lift your body up to sit in mindfulness meditation. If you are sitting up, feel an upright and relaxed posture. And it's a brief 2 minutes. Allow your attention to anchor on your breath, just letting it flow naturally. And I invite you to watch your own mind as though you're watching a movie from a distance, being as neutral of a witness of the thoughts as you can, meaning if it starts to bring you into a storyline or a series of emotions, you can unhook yourself and come back to the breath. Come back to the role, observing, watching it. Expand with a breath in, keeping your heart lifted as you exhale to your lips. If you're lying down, please make your way up to sit. Bring Bringing the palms together at your heart. Bowing in. Gratitude to yourself for having the courage to look within. Let's close with one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.